Welcome to ResMan Help. In this session we look at setting up the library code files and the operational default values in the control file. Before we look at these options, it's worth mentioning the training needs analysis option within ResMan, which is available for enterprise users, and TNA is a set of guidelines set out by the NHS Litigation Authority, which helps to link staff training records for staff who utilize or maintain medical devices to the devices that we are holding and maintaining. Now, this may well influence your procedures as how equipment loans from the library and device maintenance are processed. ResMan TNA lets you set up targets for individuals and for departments and could be rolled out throughout the organization. And this form shows color coding here, which draws your attention to departmental totals to see whether you're achieving your targets or whether a department is achieving a target, and this can be reported on. I'm now going to move into staff management and have a very quick look at our course details. In this instance, I'm taking defibrillator training, and this form shows static information relating to the training, but the important thing here with relation to the library is that we can link a course to a model reference, and then we can indicate whether this course relates to a user of equipment or to our technicians who maintain, or to both. Now we can look at how we go about setting up the library module itself. Now, although the system automatically opens with a list of our libraries, the first thing that we're going to suggest that you set up is an equipment checklist. An equipment checklist is a set of tasks to be carried out on equipment when it comes back into the library, having been on loan. And as you'll notice over here, because we can actually operate this for non-medical equipment, we could also set up a checklist for wheelchairs and beds. In this instance, what we'll look at is the checklist that we've got for EBME Major. So these are our user-definable checklist items, and therefore, if this was our default checklist, when a piece of medical equipment comes back in, as soon as that is identified, tick boxes for these checklist items will appear, and at that point, it's a very quick operation. We can make sure that that piece of equipment, when it goes into the library and therefore back out again on loan, is clean and safe for use. We'll now go back onto where our equipment libraries were, because to run the system effectively you have to have at least one library, but you can have multiple libraries. So you could have a library in different locations. So if you were operating multi-hospital sites, then you could have libraries for each of those. And of course we could have libraries for things like diverse items like wheelchairs, beds and mattresses. Now on here we can associate a default checklist that we've already just created, and we can take that from a drop-down list, and we can also set a default loan duration in days, and that's the value that a return date is calculated from. I've now moved on to equipment status, and this is used for checking on equipment availability. And we have a number of standard statuses, and if I go through them in this list, we've got available, awaiting collection, missing, on loan, WIP, which is work in progress. And in addition to that, we can set a tick box here for any status that indicates that equipment is available for loan. Our final code files are the collection methods, and this refers to how equipment is collected from the library during a loan request, or how it is collected from the borrower's department for return back into the pool. So if we have a quick look down here, department collect from EBME, department return to EBME, porter's delivery, porter's return. So that covers all of the code files. Now all we need to look at is the control file. When we go into the control file, if we take default 1, we'll then see that we've got our library defaults here. Now, because we've created our code files, we're now in a position to be able to select default items such as the default equipment library from a drop-down list, a default collection method from a drop-down list, and the same for default return. On the forms within the library, where the system would typically show owner department, we can actually use this tick box to change that name so that it becomes borrower. And finally, we have a value in here to set for the overdue report warning at a period in days. And this concludes the library setup procedures, and we now suggest that you would look at the video for operating the library. Thank you.